Hi, my name is Chris Grabowski, and I'm a solutions architect for MongoDB out of Philadelphia area. And I want to take you on a quick tour of the Workshop Builder. So to get here, you open a web browser and go to workshops.mdbnysa.us. That link may change over time, so check the description. We'll keep that up to date. As of right now, you need to get an account. Ping me on Slack, and I will update it. Eventually, this will be open up more, but it's still in a testing beta, if you will. So once you have an account, you can fill it out and click sign in. If you do forget your password, you can just type your email in here and click the I forgot password link, and Stitch will update and send you a reset password link. All of this is built on top of MongoDB Stitch. A little bit's on top of Lambda. If you want to learn more about how it's built, check the GitHub, and it walks through all of the different moving pieces. However, to use it, you don't really have to know anything other than logging in. Once you log in, you'll see a list of all courses that you've ever taken, or led, I should say. So you can kind of go back in after the fact and read up on it. However, for right now, we're going to deploy a class together. So to do that, go up to the top right corner, click the plus sign. You're going to give the class a unique identifier. This is the name for your event. You don't have to worry about uniqueness because I will append a GUID at the end automatically. So we can do demo test. Here's the dates that the workshop is going to run. So basically when it's going to deploy and when it's going to tear down. Here is a drop down for the different organizations we support. As of right now, we only support this one org. However, over time, for billing purposes, we can move that to different orgs. This is where you can put a link to a PDF, for example. This is used in the student portion. So that will allow you to do things like have a single view for the students to check their progress, which I'll get into more in a minute, and see the slides as they go through. We'll leave that blank for this one. After that is what cluster size and what cloud they want to use. We'll leave this on M10 AWS is fine. After that is the things that we will grade the student on. So for example, if we want to check automatically to see if they've accepted the invite we're about to send them, we would select the first one. The second one's around setting the IP whitelist and the username and password. The third there is loading the sample data in Atlas. After that, they're kind of broken out into the different sort of classes that we've built, and we've got accompanying slide decks. You're, of course, more than welcome to modify those decks however you want, choose which ones of these you want to check. However, it's also a pluggable architecture, so if you want to add your own features here, we're going to share more about that later. So for this, I can always hover over each one. It'll get a short description of what it's actually testing behind the scenes, and the full write-up is in both the Google Slides as well as the GitHub repo. So for today, I'm just going to check all of these. After that, I would add a one line per student. It'll be their email address, and we will automatically provision a username for them, a project for them, and only give them access to that project, and provision a cluster for them. It comes out of the box with 4 backup usernames, just in case someone joins late or they've got some sort of problem with their account, they can't get an email, so you can get up and running quick. To use this, you can go to outlook.com, and there's the password right there, so that way you can quickly go in and accept the invite on their behalf. We'll just leave this normally. However, you would probably get a list from marketing that you can take the CSV, copy, paste all their emails, and just put 1 per line. We'll leave this and click Save. After we click Save, here's the class that we just created. I can go back in here, and when we're ready, I can do things like launch the class. However, if right now, because this is all permissions based, if I want to share this class so that way I can have multiple people administering the class, you need to get the user's user ID. You can get your user ID by clicking your email address here. So there's my user ID. So if someone wants to administer this class with you, ask them for their user ID, go back into the class and click the share button, paste in their user ID, click add user, and then it will show up in their list. So they'll have the added permissions. When we are ready to launch the class, we click the rocket ship, and it will start the class now and actually go begin deploying everything. So in true cooking show fashion, I've cut over to these being fully deployed. So this is what it will look like in the organization view. So you'll see a project for each individual user. They will have gotten an email with an invite. Behind the scenes, we're doing some work around username management to work around any issues if they're existing Atlas users or SSO users. This should be all resolved at this point. And then within each of these, they will have a demo cluster deployed just for them. In this case, it'll be the whatever size that you chose in the earlier thing. So you can see we have a demo cluster here deployed. They're all always named demo. This is the email that they will get, as you can see here. They will accept this invite. Typically, we recommend having you or the marketing team send an email out beforehand saying don't accept this until the actual event, because we will be giving out the password. The password is in the deck as well. Going back to the portal now, I can click on this and of course see the view that I had before of who's been enrolled in the class. If I click on the hourglass, that will take me to the student monitoring view. So what this will do is you'll have a card for each student and each task that we chose when we deployed the class. So verify org user, etc. If I hover over each individual task, it will tell you a little message as well as an API response about what that task is. Generally speaking, black means they have not completed the task. Green means they have completed the task. Yellow typically means they have partially completed the task. So an example of that would be the security. So if they have added an IP whitelist, for example, but not added a username, which is part of the activity, it might be yellow. Red, you should never see. That is a catastrophic problem or an uncaptured error. However, we will still debug and put that information there. That way you know what's going on. As an instructor, because I am in the organization, I can just click on this button. It will take me directly to their project. That way it's easy for me to jump right in and assist them in a breakout session during the webinar. Also, this page will automatically update as every few seconds. You'll see a little card appear down here saying the page has been updated about every minute, when behind the scenes we're validating all of these events. So over time, you can just leave this page open and things will start lighting up green as students complete them. If you prefer a table view, you can click up top and press the table button, and that will convert from the card view to the table view. And it's easier to read on a much larger class, for example. Another situation that you may find yourself in is you need to add students to a class. If you have not launched the class yet, it's very simple. You can go into the class, click the add button here and add a new student. However, if you have already launched the class, we cannot add more students to an already launched class. The way around that is you would create a new class temporarily, deploy that class, go into the new class with just the subset of users, and up top there is this merge button. That will ask you what class you want to merge this deployed class into, and that will result in one larger class. So again, the workflow is create a new class, deploy that new class, and merge that new class into your existing class. So let's cut over now to walk through some of the steps the user might do so you can see what it looks like in the administrative portal for the people running the workshop. One of the tasks would be to add an IP whitelist, for example. So we can come in here and say database access, network access, add the global IP whitelist, and we can create a new user. However, let's jump back over and view what it looks like as they partially completed one of the tasks. So as you see, because I accepted the invite, my org is green. I could hover over that and find a little bit more information there. Also, because I only added the IP whitelist and did not add a user, you can see check security is yellow on this individual user. I mentioned the table view before. That's incredibly useful when you have lots of students, but there's also another button next to that that is basically to toggle to hide any student who has not accepted the org invite. That's really useful for typically e-workshops. You might have 50% rate of people showing up. So this will basically hide anyone who is not following along. So if you press this button, it will hide the 3 additional users there because only one of my users has accepted the invite. So the student version here is available at class.mdb.nysa.us. Again, check the description in case that has changed. Here they will enter the email address they signed up for the class with. So here's the sample I've been using. When I click load, I can see the more English language view as opposed to the administrator view. I can see that I've accepted the invite, I've set security, and again, when I hover over that, it basically tells you I'm missing a user. And again, this will automatically refresh for the students there. I can also see at the bottom is the iframe embed I referenced earlier, so it's basically here as a PDF version. That's what I put in that page. so I can see, follow along materials here. Up top is also two very useful features. The first is a button to Atlas, which again will autofill their username. Because the usernames are manipulated to get around any SSO or existing Atlas users, they may not know their username, so again, this will autofill that. And the last feature is the MongoDB web shell as a feature of this. The MongoDB web shell is really meant as a way to very quickly get people up and running with a Mongo shell. Problems we've run into in the past, especially in person, is they have not installed Compass. Certain tasks are not available within the Document Explorer within Atlas itself. So rather than requiring them to install Compass or install the Mongo shell or work around any weird firewall or VPN issues, this gets around that problem. So basically this is going to act as a Mongo relay all through Terminal Emulator in the browser. To access that, they can just press this shell button. It'll open a new tab. It'll autofill the username, again, that I logged in with. And at this point now I am in that cluster. So I can do show collections or show DBs and do everything I can be a CLI. So this is a real quick way for them to very quickly get up and running and access any of the data as they do the labs. So now that we're done this course, it will be best for us to go back to the edit page and click the terminate button, which will go clean up all of the clusters, delete the projects, etc. So rather than leave stuff floating out there forever, it's best to terminate them. So I'll do that now. So that was a real quick tour of the workshop builder. We're open to all suggestions to improve this. If it's very useful to you, you're more than welcome to use it. Just ask me for your username. If you want to contribute to the project, it's on the 10gen GitHub under SA Workshop Builder. There's also, you can fill out FRs there, look at the roadmap as well. It's meant to be a pluggable architecture, so that way you can add new features or run with it on your own. So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or Eugene Kang.